be discussing dispersion as a decision-making tool, and we'll take off two cases. I have one structure presentation. I'll start with the structure presentation. Hope we can discuss in between. In case I'm not clear, or if you feel I'm going faster or not clear, you can please stop me. My representative should stop me. Okay, today we would like to discuss a new concept, dispersion. Before dispersion, we'll be having a quick review of what we did in the last class. Last class we did averages.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Sir, this is Chinmay. Actually,
Yes,
sir, I have a doubt in the previous class. Can I ask you, sir?
Can you be quick? We can take off for a minute,
Yes,
or else you
okay,
can at the end.
sir. Okay, sir. In the previous class, you have said mean, median, and mode. That is the three central tendencies by which we'll consider to evaluate a performance, right? And sir, I have a doubt that which central tendency I should consider to evaluate the performance that will be more appropriate. Means that will be mean, median, or mode.
That's what we discussed two cases. No, in the two cases, we suggested one average which may be suitable for you may not be suitable for other. We discussed that campus recruitment case, the average placement officer, placement head may be taking. We should not take that. Depending upon the situation, context, or the information seeker, it will be different. We'll be taking in the future some other examples. Slowly, you'll be in a position to understand. So, in short, the answer is there is no fixed rule. One can apply a particular average depending upon the information that we particularly want. Okay, we will be discussing it. Thank you, Chinmay. And we'll be taking up with lateral. So, you remind me if I'm not covering in this class also. Okay. So, this is what we had the last time. And we had made a calculation. Hope you remember. If it is a group data, we have to find the class intervals like this, and the frequency will be given. The formula is summation fx by summation f. So we have to find the fx calculation by multiplying x with f, and we found this average last class. This is a quick review. And this same data I'll be using for dispersion also, so that it is easy for us to calculate. Okay. Before I introduce the concept of dispersion, I would like to take example from the field of cricket, knowing that many of you love cricket and you are cricket fans. So those who have been watching since last 2-3 years must have felt the difficulty of selectors to select third down, fourth down batsman or fifth down batsman. And there are few average kind of players who really come and compete, and they also excel. Sometimes they flop, and it is really very difficult for the point of view of selector to whom you should select. Those who may recall, Ajinkya, Ambati, and others, they actually compete for each other for a particular spot. And those who recall Ambati out of frustration, anger, he has recently retired from some format of cricket. And because of this non-selection for a couple of matches. And these are the figures, detailed figures, which I got yesterday from NET. And I want to ask you, if you are one of the selector and you want to select one out of the two, Ajinkya or Ambati. You don't have choice. You can select both. You have to select one. So how do we make a selection? How do we decide? How do we make the decision making based on the data? To make it simple, I'll not confuse you with so much of averages data kind of thing. I'll say, for example, take this hypothetical data. These are the scores of last consecutive 5 matches in one-day format of 2 players, player 1, player 2. These are the values. Okay. Now, quick response from you, and any volunteer maybe can answer. According to you, to whom you should select? as a better player. So he need.
Ajinkya.
Sir, Ajinkya, because the average will be,
Ajinkya, sir.
the fluctuations of the frequency is not too high or low, it's average. If you see the frequency curve also, it will be average. Like it will not be skewed. Like,
Sir, I think I will take
not
both.
so much like Ambati.
Sankha Supra.
Sir, in terms of consistency, Ajinkya is better.
How do
Their
you-
average is
how-
being equal.
How do you measure?
And for the third player,
Sir, notice one thing, that his run is gradually increasing, like 30, 40, 55, 75. Where Ambati Rayudu's performance is not consistency. He has put 75 in one match, then 10 in another match. But their equal is being equal, 50.
Wow.
But I think Ajinkya will be better.
Sankha Supra is thinking minutely kind of thing. So happy, Sankha. Anybody else who would like to supplement what Sankha suggested? Anything else new?
This is Chinmay, sir.
Yes, Chinmay.
Okay, sir. I also agree with Shankar, and I can also notice that the Ajinkya score is improving in ascending manner. Means 40, 30, next 50, 55, 75. I can just say literally means he's improving day by day. So I can consider Ajinkya.
Because he is improving, you are selecting him. Anybody else
Consistency.
use a better logic?
Both of them have
can
the
I-
equal number in the total match.
Anjali Sinha first. Anjali Sinha first.
Yes, sir. Sir, we can choose any one of the both because the average is same in
Yes,
both
sir.
the conditions.
Okay. So that means you will be going for a toss.
Yes, sir. We can choose anyone.
Maar khaoge. Okay. If you're going for a random toss, the fan of Ajinkya will come and smash you. Okay. Okay. Joke apart. Anybody else? Somebody told consistency. I think two of you told consistency.
Yes,
What
so the
Yes, sir.
Ajinkya
Can
has
I
more
come in?
consistency than
Sir,
Ambati.
Ajinkya is more consistent than
Yes.
Ambati.
How do you know this? How do you know
Can I
this?
come in?
So
Because
if we plot it on the graph, both
We measure a concept
Like,
of
sir, if
consistency.
you compare
if we
50 to
plot
55, you are not having enough gap. Like
Okay.
it is gradually increasing. But if you compare 75 and 10,
Sankha, you mail me after the class. I think Sankha, with your kind permission, all of you, deserves 1 mark, bonus mark for participation. He actually initiated well. I am, with your kind permission, giving 1 mark participation to Sankha Supra. You give me a mail so that I don't forget. Now, he has observed two things, that it is average is 50. So how do we do that? I think perhaps he has also for the first time told the consistency factor. Now, what we are thinking beyond average is sometimes for decision making, average alone may not be of help. We look beyond average. Say, for example, how the data vary, variation among the data, variation among the scores of the players. Now, if the variation is much higher, wider, or variation is not much, that is a question between the two. So we are talking of consistency, which is of less variability. I'll be giving one more example, which will be more clear to the rest, those who might be having some confusion while introducing a concept called dispersion. Say, for example, I'll be giving you the example of two shooters. I have allowed 5 shots, and the 2 shooters, the performance is like this. Green or blue is shooter A, and yellow is shooter B. Now, is it possible to decide which is a better shooter?
yellow one, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. YOLO one. Shooter B is not scattered. The value along is not scattered. YOLO one.
But one more term has come, that is less scattered. Okay, I'm happy that correctly you have used some of the term which we wanted to discuss today, which I should have told. I'm happy that it has come from your side. Now, when you are dealing with the scatteredness, variations, differences, distances, then we are talking of the dispersion. So we should have a mechanism how to measure the amount or degree of variation or dispersion. Now, can I trouble Arundhati Priya first and second Nidhi Tiwari? Now, suppose you have got 10 suitors like this, when things will be a bit complicated, and you have to choose who is the best suitor. How exactly, can you just suggest us some methodology or approach how we can judge, decide who is the best suitor? How should it be measured? Arundhati?
Yes, sir. Sir, according to me, as I think, second one is better, and
Madam, we all are traveling in a train, and the train has already left Bhubaneswar. If you know, there is a Baleshwar before Kolkata Howrah. We are already at Baleshwar. I am asking, there are 10 suitors, not this. I think you are not listening to me properly, my dear. Don't mind.
sir, I
So
thought.
I'm asking, yeah, please. Continue.
No, sir, you continue. Okay.
What I'm suggesting,
Listening.
give me a just good mechanism, methodology. How do we decide without any confusion bias, out of the 10 such suitors, who is the best suitor?
The simple average.
Okay, Soumya Verma.
So we can try the value which is closest to the central value.
Wow.
I mean, if we are trying the like shooting, so there's a bullseye. So the point which is closest to the bullseye, we can consider that to be the best.
Wow, fantastic. I'm happy. Abhishek, raise your hand. Abhishek, you wanted to supplement something?
Yes, sir. Whoever's range is the least. In all
Sorry,
the
come again.
Whoever's range is the least.
How do you do that?
Largest
Upper limit minus lower limit.
Yes, upper.
Arey dear, kahan hai ye upper limit, lower limit? You are giving
there are 10
shooters to 10 shooters. Listen.
There are 10 shooters, right?
My dear, listen. I think listen, dear, listen. 1 minute. All of you, please mute for 1 minute, then you can ask me. The way predecessor suggested, I'm happy that she correctly used the bullseye, inner, outer kind of thing. You have got the circles. Now, you have to find what directly she told, you have to find the distance from the center.
Yes.
So the distance is the term we should have used here. You measure exactly using some mechanism of scale, whatever. Say, for example, this one, from center, how many millimeter? From center, how many millimeter? How many millimeter? So 5 shots, 5 distance. You add it up, that is the total distance here, maybe shooter number 3, shooter number 4, shooter number 5. Okay. So which shooter should be adjudged the best? Having the highest distance or the lowest distance?
Lowest distance.
Wow.
Lowest distance.
Lowest from the center. Lowest distance from the
Distance, dispersion, scatterness, to me, for this day, for the topic of dispersion, they are synonym for today's class. So distance should be less, dispersion should be less, scatterness should be less, then we'll be happy. If scatterness is less, indirectly we are calling that is more consistent. Okay, whether it is a shooter case or a batsman case will be depending on that batsman whose variation is much less. Okay, so from this, through these 2 examples, I guess like all of you must be understanding that beyond average, we should look for the scatterness of different data, how they are appearing around the center. Like say, for example, batsman example, they are having average score of 50. So around 50, how scattered the other scores are. Sometime Ambati has got like less than 20. So that is something very bad. So consistency means when you are sending a batsman, you have got a trust, kuch to kari lega. If you don't have trust or consistency, you never know whether he can help you out or not. Suppose the team is in a crisis and you are sending the boy, you never know what will happen. So the consistency comes here. Any question? Okay.
So if the value is same, then what will happen?
Wow. So what should be done? You suggest? You have like started well, na? Who is improving, who is decreasing kind of thing. Suppose one is in ascending order, one is in descending order, and average same, dispersion is same. So you take a judge that because you are improving, you are like kind of thing. So forget mathematics. Logic is this chap is improving, so you can do that. So that is something different. We should not worry much about this. Allow me to start the formal discussion on dispersion. Now, the second example, what we done, we suggested that there should be some approach, some methodology, some mechanism of measuring the variability or scatterness. We talked of distance. Similarly, there are few known measures of dispersion. First 2, 3, I'll just be telling you very briefly, which will not be using much. The last one is to be studied in detail. First and simplest is called range. I think some of you have also uttered the word range today. If you have got some data, 5 data, 10 data, find the high score, find the low score, and the difference is called range. So in the batsman case also, you can find the high score, low score, and the range. So the lower the range is the better. Next one is called mean deviation. If you have got set of observation data, which is termed as X here, we can perhaps find the average mean. Then from each of the given values, you go on deducting mean. First value minus average, second value minus average, third value minus average. So the deviations or differences, you first take the mode value, because if you don't take mode value, it will add up to 0. To avoid that confusion, the formula is mode of the difference. Suraj wanted to ask something. Suraj Singh, please be quick.
Suraj. Sir, I was having a network issue. Could you please repeat once again?
This is what on my screen you can read. We have got 2, 3 measures which are of less importance and will not be discussing in detail. First one is a range. A range is nothing but the difference between the highest value and lowest value. Next is mean deviation. Mean deviation means find the difference of values from mean. Then take the mode value. Mode value means if it is negative, take the positive, and then sum total. Then divide by n. Okay, this is mean deviation. Next one is called quartile deviation. We have usually 4 quarters or 4 quartiles. First quarter or first quartile, second quartile, third quartile, and fourth quartile is the last. So we use this third quartile minus first quartile divided by 2 is called quartile deviation. Don't worry much about the first 3. We will not be using much in our syllabus. But the next one, standard deviation, all the variance will be studied in detail and will be using in our next slide for calculation also. There is a minor type mistake here, please. So this should be actually a standard deviation square variance. So if you find standard deviation, this should be whole under root. So please all of you write it sigma square here. Sigma square, this symbol I'll be reading out as sigma. So this should have been sigma square is equal to what we'll be doing. Please see, unlike calculation of mean where we had multiplied fx, here we are using fx square. All fx square are take the summation and divide by n. Earlier you have found mean value and square the mean. So the difference is called variance. So how do we find the standard deviation? Take the square root. Okay, square root of variance is called standard deviation. Yes, 2 of you wanted to ask me. Quick, one of you can ask quickly. Please save time, quick. Any question? Okay, no question. Next is the formula of standard deviation. Please see what I told, sigma square root is the standard deviation. This is the actual original formula. But don't worry, I would not advise you to use this formula, x minus mu whole square and then divide by n whole under root. Actually, when you expand this square, this should come like this. And please make correction here also. This root should be extended up to this entire root. Please do this. And this formula is when you don't have frequency. If there is frequency, just multiply it here f. Please multiply here f. Summation fx square by n minus mu square whole under root. We'll be making a calculation so that it will be more easy. Now the same example I'll be taking, the one which you had taken for averages. Hope you understand this. Once you get the class, next we'll be finding the mid values. This was discussed in the last class, and the frequencies will come. Now first, even for finding standard deviation, we have to find both fx calculation, then fx square calculation. Fx calculation we had done earlier, you must be knowing. So x value and f value, if you multiply, you get corresponding fx value. Is that okay?
Yes.
Now for fx square value, please listen to me carefully. You have got two options. Option number one, you square this x value, then multiply f. It comes like this. Or simply, you can save time because you have already found fx. In fx, you multiply x again. All the same. So this value into this value will be fx square. Either way, we'll be finding fx square. Any question up to this? Is it okay, Sankar?
Sir, you are saying for multiplying,
Yes.
but the second one is not matching. 2700.
Multiply and help me out. 180 multiplied by 15 is how much?
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay, got it?
Okay.
Should be matching. Now next is you add it up. First add fx square values. Summation fx square is coming like this. And earlier, as you have done, mean value. So mean value we have found is 40.9. Now this summation should be divided by 200. Soumya Burma, can you help me? From where I got this 200? Soumya, can you hear me? Unmute. Please,
Yes, sir.
how do I get 200?
Frequent. No.
Yes, summation of frequency. You add this this one.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Summation of
This
frequency.
200 is summation of frequency. Total frequency is 200. Please remember this. Then this comes to 220. This 220 is variance. Take the square root and you get standard deviation. Is that okay? So here for my convenience, I have written as row, but in exam, make a habit of writing it as a column. Column wise, you can make calculation, that will be better. Okay. So this is the formula that we have used, and we'll be taking one case here. All of you read the case carefully, and please don't worry about the data. When class is given, you can directly find the mid value, or you can just convert it to continuous. 0 to 200, 200 to 400, 400 to 600, 600 to 800 like this. So don't worry about this classification type. Now read the question. First, we have to discuss at length what is the meaning of the case. I'll be happy if some of you first try to explain the meaning of the case. What is the issue involved? What decision making issue is involved here, and what should be done? First, we have to understand the case, and calculation is not that important. Understanding the case is more important for us. I'm giving you 2 minutes. Read the case, don't worry about the number, and the last sentence is the issue. So I'll be requesting you all, please participate in the case discussion. Can I request you all to please switch on your video, all of you, so that I can ask randomly, all of you. All please switch on your video. All, Pratik Vishwal, you are there? Aniket, Akanksha, Komal Prasad. You are there, or I should mark you absent? Aniket, are you there? Akanksha, if you don't respond, Akanksha, yes. Keep your video. Aniket, Rijona, Aniket is missing, I guess. Risika, can you hear me, Risika? I'll start from you.
There. Actually, I'm in a
Okay. Without video also you can like respond. Risika,
Yes, sir.
Akanksha.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, yes, we can hear
Sir,
you.
actually, can I keep the video off? Actually, I'm not in a...
Yeah, no problem, dear. Komal Prasad, Akanksha, and
Yes, sir.
Prerana. Komal Prasad, Akanksha, and
Yes,
Prerana
sir.
in that order. Start. Start means what? Running competition, start running or what? What is the question, Komal Prasad?
Sir, it's about the number of check cash each day in the Bank of Orange country.
Who are you?
Sir, Komal Prasad.
Who are you?
The director of operations.
The director of operator for the bank.
Yes, don't forget.
Director of operations.
I'll be asking the same question every time I discuss a case. Okay, you are not Komal.
Okay.
Yes, now start.
Sir, this case is about the number of check cash each of the 5 branches of the Bank of Orange country.
Okay. Next. Next speaker. Continue from there. Who is the next speaker I requested?
The Hanks PV, the Hanks PV Director of Operations, saw that having 200 checks per day create a hustle in the bank.
Is
So I
it,
have to.
is it you are getting 200 checks per day?
Yes, in the 4 branches. In the 4
Can
branches there are more than 2.
Can anybody correct?
So
Yeah, tell me.
So whenever there is a cashing of checks like more than 200 in the distribution, we can see it creates problem because of because the workload is uneven. So the frequencies are maybe not right. So that would create the problem in the calculation. Because it is written here that whenever more than 200 checks.
Tell me what is the problem? What is the problem?
Lack of labor.
Lack of?
Uneven
Lack of workforce. And uneven workload.
Uneven workload.
What is the meaning of uneven workload?
There are less people for more work.
So recruit
Some are getting more work, some are doing less work.
Someone is doing more work and
some are getting more works and some are getting less work.
So what should be your duty?
Even out the workload. Work evenly.
To reduce the workload.
Will you allocate the...
Elena, can you help us out? Elena?
Yes, sir. If we divide the workload equally to each of the staff, then the problem will be reduced.
How it is possible?
So standard deviation.
Can you take like one axe or a scale? If boss you are working up to this and next one is working up to that, how to do that?
No idea.
Nidhi, any comment? What is the issue? What is the problem, Nidhi Tiwari?
Sir, uneven workload and labor force also.
Can anybody tell me what is the real issue? What is the meaning of uneven workload here?
That the work is not being distributed properly.
So some frequency.
The work is not being distributed properly.
Some people are checking
proper.
the
frequency distribution
Sir,
is
some
improper.
people are cashing the check, but some are not cashing. That's the main problem, sir.
Some are
Sir,
not
the
cashing.
work is not being distributed
Some are not
properly.
cashing means एक कैसे हो सकता है? Then you are not a good manager. That means they are not fearing or respecting you. Okay, I'm taking over. I'm taking over.
Sir, the allocation of staffs in the different branches are not even.
नहीं यार सूरज, ये नहीं है. Actually, let me take over. Kindly permit me 2 minutes. Then you can please supplement. Okay. All of you please mute yourself. Listen to me, and you are requested to supplement. Okay. All of you please mute. Give me 2 minutes time, please. Okay. Now 2 issues. Issue number 1. If we get more checks, is it a problem for us? And is the data indicating that are we getting surely more checks? I think 2 of you have raised your hand. Anybody, those who are volunteering, they may supplement. Question number 1, if we get more checks, will it be a problem for us? Who can answer? If you get huge number of checks, will it be a problem?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
How do you So what should
The unevenness will increase because
workload.
Yeah, distribution will still be uneven.
Sir, the number of checks are increasing, but the number of employees who will do the checks, that is being fixed, that is not increasing.
So आप recruit करो ना, you are not a conjuice manager, you are a very benevolent, very nice manager. Problem क्या है, Shankha? If you are getting more checks, no, listen, dear. If you are getting more checks, will you not be earning better branch-wise, bank-wise, as you are getting commission for processing of checks? Suppose 5,000 checks you are getting processing, you get commission charge. And if it is 50,000, will you be happy or unhappy?
It will be happy.
You should ensure more income. The problem is something else. Now, the problem is you are not sure whether it will be actually coming always higher or not, or it is unpredictably erratic in nature. Sometimes it comes very less, sometimes it comes in very huge number. So when the arrival of checks is unpredictably erratic, then that is a problem. If you know pretty well that yes, we are going to get a huge number, you can very well recruit more. So the question of uneven workload is when it is unpredictably erratic in nature, sometimes you get less. Suppose you have recruited more, and to your bad luck, checks are coming in very less number. So your employees will sit idle. Shankha Sabra, what will happen to you? Who are you?
Sir, I am the director of operations for the bank.
So boss will be happy. Shabashi dega ya thokega?
Definitely, sir, I will be unhappy.
Not will be unhappy. Your boss will be firing you fast. You are not taking a judicious decision.
Yes, sir.
When employees will be sitting idle, that means you are not managed well.
Yes, sir.
Are not conjuice, fine. You can recruit more if justifiably, if your staff tell ki, yes, it is higher workload. But the problem is, sometimes it is very less, sometimes it is very high. So what we are indirectly discussing here, don't forget that we are discussing standard deviation. So the variation, scatteredness, if it is higher, like the batsman, it's unpredictable, inconsistent. So the variation is high. So those who started ki per day 200 checks, they are wrong. Actually, 200 is the measure of standard deviation. If standard deviation is higher, degree of unpredictability, uncertainty will be higher. Got my point? So if standard deviation is less, it is controllable. All of you please listen to me carefully. Suppose standard deviation is exactly 200. That means the variation can be maximum up to 200. Say for example, you are getting per day 2000 checks. So 200 this side, that side means what? 1800. or sometimes 2200. You add 200, subtract 200, so the variation will be 1800 to 2200. So as a manager, you have to telling your staff, aap jano, aap jhelo. Aap jhelo, you understand what is the meaning of aap jhelo? If sometime it is less, you have enjoyed. If it is something 100, 150 kind of thing, minor extra, अरे boss, you have to manage yourself. थोड़ा तो ज़्यादा नहीं है ना, 19-20 तो होगा. So the meaning is slight variation is tolerable. If the variation is very high, in place of 2000, one fine morning you get 3000, 4000, unmanageable. So now the spirit of this question is not average, but the standard deviation has an important role for decision making for consistency of data. Now, having discussed at length about the situation or the problem, now uneven workload is that. Uneven workload means if standard deviation is very high. So, you wanted to ask something?
No, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Sir, may I ask something?
Yes, Suraj.
Sir, I could not understand the link between the frequency table and the question, sir.
Abhi aayenge na? We are just discussing that. Now, what I explained, the concept of standard deviation in this course case. Now, coming here, coming to the frequency table, there are 10 such cases when you got in branches checks in between 0 to 200. There are 13 such cases when you got checks between 200 to 400. And there are also some occasions when you got checks between 800 to 1000. Sometimes you get checks within this, sometimes you get check within this. As your subordinate employee, they will be happy if they get less check. But you as the manager should be happy if your employee are handling more checks. Now, to understand the problem of this decision-making issue, now this question, if it comes in exam, it's a very, very simple question. Ananya, what do you say, what should be done coming to the solution of this particular case? Ananya Kumari, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, answer, quick.
Yes, sir, I can hear you.
Bolna, answer bolna.
So we can find the mid values and mean first.
Then
we should find the standard deviation.
Yeah. So in short sentence, if this question comes to us in exam, just find the standard deviation. Is that right? Simply find standard deviation over. If the standard deviation is less than 200, situation is normal and it is not uneven. If it is more than 200, you have to conclude yes, the workload is uneven. This much conclusion. If this question comes, you have to have a very clear conclusion whether the workload is very, very uneven or not. That or not means it is should be manageable. It will be manageable if it is 200 or less. Okay. So this is one application-oriented case for standard deviation. For every case, we need to understand. Yes, please. Anybody wanted to ask? Okay. Next, I'll be going for. Suppose we have to deal with more than one sample, more than one cases, more than one groups. So we cannot compare the standard deviation of one sample with the standard deviation of other by taking only the simple standard deviation. We have to go for again a relative measure which we have in two types. One, coefficient of variation or in short CV, or another very, very simple method. It is called standardization of the values or standard score. Whatever values are given, deduct its mean and divide by standard deviation. So this change or transformation is called standardization, and for convenience we'll be using as Z. Okay, we'll be using one case. Please give me 5 minutes so that it will be easier understanding.
This is Chinmay, sir.
Yes, Chinmay.
Sir, I have some connectivity issues. Can you repeat this again, sir?
This slide only.
Yes, sir, this side only.
Okay. What I just told, when we have the necessity or requirement of comparing more than one sample, then simple standardization will not help. We have to go for a relative measure. We have got two methods, two options. One, coefficient of variation or CV, and another is standard score or standardization of given values X. That I am going to explain. I will not explain here. Now, coefficient of variation is standard deviation divided by the average and multiply by 100. Okay. If there are two groups, CV of first group, CV of second group, you have to find whichever is less, that is better. Is that clear?
Sir?
Yes.
Sir, in case of both standard deviation and coefficient of variance, we have to calculate the smaller number, like the smaller value in both of the cases.
Smaller is better. Smaller is better. Thank you for asking. Now, next one, what I suggested is the standardization of given values. Given values are given in X terms. What I just told, we can deduct mean and divide by standard deviation. That is called standard score. Okay. We'll be taking one case, and as I suggested, all of you, okay, before that I'll be introducing a small theory. You don't worry about the theorem rule. Particularly, I will not be using in my statistics class much theory formula kind of thing, very, very minimum thing. I'll make it as simple as this. But this actually concept, which is given by a person called Ceviche, this looks like this. If a normal situation frequency curve looks like this, he suggests if you find the mean value at center and you take some intervals with standard deviation. If you look at here, mu plus sigma, mu minus sigma. So within this, he is suggesting around 68% of the value data will be here. He has found from experimentation. And if you further extend mu minus 2 sigma to mu plus 2 sigma, within this interval, around 95% of the data will be contained. So this range is for 95% of the total area. Similarly, mu minus 3 times sigma to mu plus 3 times sigma, and this range will cover 99% of the data. So this is the beauty of normal curves, and almost all data will be within this. Okay, I'll be using this after a redrawing of this graph. I have drawn like this for you. Suppose this is the x-axis values are there. It could be like marks of the students, like a thing, and you have got a central value, mean value. And if you draw some intervals in the frequency curve, first interval, second interval, third interval like this, and the intervals are mu and mu minus sigma to mu plus sigma like this. So the values, as we discussed in earlier slide, this to this will be 68%, this to this will be 95%, and this to this last will be 99%. Yes. So this much you remember, don't worry, and we are repeating at greater detail when you are covering normal distribution. Normal distribution is a big chapter, and this is important chapter that we'll be covering later, and that will have minimum 2-3 questions from exam point of view. This will be repeated there. Now this concept, this Ceviche property, I'll be using in one more case, which will be using this standardization of score. Now let me tell you, I'll be taking you to small groups. I'll be experimenting in your section for the first time. I request you all, please cooperate with me, and I'll be calling you back again. So in these small groups, you will have quick discussions, and you have to again join me back after 10 minutes. All of you should read the question in the next one. Then, yes, all of you please read the question. Data is given here also, and last line is the question. This table gives mean value and variance. Don't forget, from variance we can find standard deviation Sankha. From variance, how do we find standard deviation Sankha?
Yes, sir.
From variance column, how can we find standard deviation? take the square root. If variance is
squaring it.
9, standard deviation will be 9. If variance is 64, standard deviation will be 8, like this. Okay. Now read the question.
14
I'll be using breakout rooms. I'll be making 10 rooms of 6 person each, and you will have a quick discussion of 7-8, maximum 10 minutes. Then we will be coming back and having the discussion. Please have a look at the question. Let me have the rooms for you. I'm making 10 rooms, and each room you'll have around 6 participants. I'm creating the rooms. You will be given 10 minutes, and before 10 minutes, okay, let me shorten it so that I can make it 8 minutes, so that we save time, so that we can come back early, and then you have to rejoin me. Okay. So here we go to respective rooms. Join respective rooms.